Welcome to the SHA Podcast, presented by Direct West.
Welcome back to another installment of the SHA Podcast, presented by Direct West. As always, I'm your host, Jake Murray. Today, we're talking all things Sask First, SHA's high-performance program. We're joined by former Team Saskatchewan player and Spokane Chiefs prospect, Blake Swetlikoff, as well as SHA's Director of High Performance, Joel Houseman. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Now, Joel, can you tell us a little bit about what the Sask First program is for our listeners that might not know what that is?
Sure. Our Bantam Male program started in 1988. So basically it's available to every second-year Bantam in the province who's eligible to try out for the Sask First program. So any kid that's parents reside in the province of Saskatchewan is eligible to try out. And we have regional camps, one in the north, one in the south for the kids to go to. So basically from there, the players can attend the tryout, and then we start selecting players to move on to the next tournament. So we have a top 160 tournament that happens in December, and then a top 80 tournament that happens in February. And from there, we would pick around 30 players that would potentially make Team Saskatchewan and play in the WHL Cup in the fall of 2020.
For sure. Now, Blake, you've been through the Sask First program, starting right from the Sask regional camps and making it right through to representing Saskatchewan and competing in the Canada Winter Games tournament. Can you tell us a little bit about what your initial thoughts or feelings were when you first started out in the program, and did those thoughts or feelings change throughout the entire process?
Well, to begin the process, the biggest thing for me was just starting to get my bearings and settle in a little bit. You know, at the start, you're kind of nervous, meeting lots of new people, and playing on teams where maybe you don't know a lot of the players, or you got to play different positions. But once I kind of got comfortable with the whole situation, it really just ended up being a ton of fun. And then playing for Team Saskatchewan, representing Saskatchewan at the end was just the cherry on top. It was a real honor for me.
Now, Joel, I know one of the main things evaluated throughout the program is the player's skills, but there's also a number of other things that evaluators and coaches look at as well. Can you expand a little bit on that for us?
Sure. I think the three biggest things when evaluating players in this program, that it doesn't matter if it's at this camp or the next camp or so on and so forth, but there's three basic things that we kind of look at. One is skating. Today's game, if you can't skate and skate fast, you can't play at the next level. So skating is a big thing. The next thing would be compete. We watch how players compete. What I mean by that is, are they willing to do things other players aren't, like block shots, finish checks, go all out for shifts on 35, 40 seconds, those type of things. Mm-hmm. And then lastly would be, hockey IQ. What is the player? How does a player think the game? Can they think the game fast? Can they make good decisions under pressure? Those types of things.
For sure. So, Blake, after going through the entire program from start to finish, what kind of advice would you give a U15 or a Bantam player that is on the fence about registering for the program?
I think the biggest piece of advice that I could give is that if you're not sure if you want to do it or not, you've got nothing to lose.
For sure.
You know what? You might not end up making Team Saskatchewan, but through it all, you might meet so many new guys. You might meet someone who ends up being your best friend you go golfing with when you retire, right? Mm-hmm. So, and it's not going to hurt you to, play those extra games. And the coaches that are there, the officials, the staff that work in the Sask First program, they're all there to make you a better player.
For sure.
All in all, I think it's really a beneficial part of hockey and the opportunity of a lifetime.
And Joel, do you want to add anything to that for a player that might be on the fence about getting involved?
Yeah, I think Blake kind of hit the nail on the head there. The big thing in Saskatchewan is that it's open to every player. So, yeah, at the end of the day, we are picking a team, but it's all about the whole experience for the player. So it's a unique situation where you get to go to a camp with some kids from around the province that you may not know and get put in a different environment, which is a challenge, but it's also rewarding and a lot of fun. And like Blake said, you get to meet new people and interact with different players and different coaches, which is which is key for development and moving on. And it's just good to go to those types of things and have some fun and put yourself out there. So I would encourage any player to get involved and try out.
Definitely. Well, Blake, I know you're busy getting ready for games coming up this weekend, and Joel, you getting ready to host the 2019-20 Sask First regional camps here. So I want to thank you both for taking the time to join me and talk about the Sask First program.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Jake.
This has been another installment of the SHA podcast. I'm your host, Jake Murray, and that was Sask First Hockey.
This has been an SHA podcast presented by Direct West. The Saskatchewan Hockey Association, shaping character for life, more than a game.